morning, 8:30 a.m. every Sunday, actually, so far. Now, let me get set up and let me know what the audio and the visuals like, because the internet's not the greatest today. One of the pains of living in the middle of nowhere. There we go. Well done, YouTube. Bum, 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 bum. Where's me comments? JJ, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, JJ. Big thumbs up. Good job, matey. Simon Rawl, morning, Andy and crew. Bacon, yes. We've known from previous experiments, taste testing, that bacon makes everything better. We've abolished that mystery, and it's true. Really, really is. The pies with bacon always seem to score more. Richard Perry, morning, Andy and crew, back again. Where has the week gone? Big thumbs up. I agree. Where has the week gone? It's been a weird week for me. Lots about that very shortly. Roger Heaps, good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Roger. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. How's the tractor? Oh, talking of tractors, Trevor the tractor is only 2 hours away from his first service. 50 hours. So it's taken me over a year to do 48 hours in Trevor the tractor. He's doing all right. Mike Bazanski, good morning all. Good morning, Mike. Welcome back, matey. You'll be back up on your feet and running around like a teenager right now, won't you? Now that you're all fixed up. Jim Kay, man of many words. Hello. Good morning, Jim. Welcome back, sir. And apologies for not taking some of your calls this week. I've been doing training. Great segue. Thank you, Jim. On Tuesday and Wednesday, I attended, what do they call it? Think on Your Feet course. So you can Google that because it's a global course that's run, in various countries by various trainers and stuff. And it was to, I think, in an attempt to improve my communication skills. Maybe they need improving. I don't know. It was a very bizarre course. It really was. The vast majority of my communication is done via email. I do get a few phone calls, although I try very hard to minimize the number of phone calls, mainly because often I'm not available to take a phone call. Sure, if I'm driving and I've got signal, no problems at all, because it's great to have the company while I'm driving. Although it does, when you're trying to diagnose a problem whilst driving, you definitely got less brain cells looking after the stuff going on the road. No doubt about that whatsoever. So there is an issue there. And I mean, some companies now, in New Zealand at least, have started to ban you taking phone calls whilst driving. I've got into the habit now of when a phone call comes in, and especially when the signal's a bit iffy, I'll try and get stopped where I've got signal to finish the call. Because Vodafone's, or should I say One, it's been renamed, One's signal around New Zealand, 1 minute you can have full signal and you can go over a little tiny hill, and the next minute you've got no signal whatsoever and the call drops out. So very important to try. It's just easy just to pull up, get the call out of the way, and then carry on again. Otherwise, you end up, the phone call usually can be 3 separate phone calls to complete the conversation. You're ringing them back, they're ringing you back, and it becomes a bit of a palaver. So that's the habit I've got into. Plus, I'm not driving whilst I'm talking to them, which is a bonus. But it does slow down me getting to where I need to go, which is sometimes a bit of a problem. Makes me late. But I have to take the calls sometimes, if I can. So mainly by email, mainly written correspondence. And we got about half an hour into the course. And the gentleman, the lecturer providing the course, I said to him, I says, at any stage, are we going to be improving written communication? Or is this just presentation type communication where you prepare for a presentation, you get everything in a good order, you use a particular format, and there was 6 different formats that we learnt of how to present. And the first day, which we covered 6 basic ones on the first day, and they weren't too bad, and then we covered some weird stuff on the second day, which just really jumbled everything up. So day 2 wasn't as good as day 1, but I got through it. I had definitely learned some stuff from it. And did I regain a bit of confidence speaking in front of a group? Yeah, probably. I haven't done that since I was a lecturer. So, yeah, not a bad thing. Can't grumble. Although being in a classroom again was a bit weird, must admit, as a student especially. But there you go. Survived that one. That was Tuesday and Wednesday of last week. Monday, I think I was just at home doing, yes, I was, admin work. All day Monday, admin work. Got about half done what I wanted to do because of other urgent correspondence that had to happen. And then Thursday, Friday, Thursday I was in Auckland, drove home. Oh, I went to go and pick up Thursday afternoon, went to go and pick up an ROV from Piha. That's now here and it's half serviced, so we're going to get that finished this afternoon. I think we've got just enough parts to do the job. And then on the Friday, I was at home, and again, it was another admin day. Full day admin, lots to do. Didn't get everything done as always, but that's the way it goes. Yesterday, we did we started the survey. Well, we had a bit of a tidying up to do. The ute was full of stuff that we had to unload and pack away, go through, pack away. It took a couple of hours. And then the afternoon was spent embarking on the service on this ROV. And we did very well yesterday, actually. We did quite a lot of stuff. And we finished a bit later than planned, but we got a lot more done than we thought we would do. So Mrs. Mechanic was great as always. She was busy cleaning up the calipers and bits and pieces. And she did the overhaul on the CVT drive. Good on her. Very good. Oh, before I forget, radio communication with the galley. Connor will like that. There you go. So we've got the rig set up. One in the kitchen, one here. Instant coffee. That's what I like. Where do we get to? Daz, 323323. Morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Daz. Welcome back to the workshop. Ted McConaughey. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Morning, guys, from New Mexico, US of A. Those pies look interesting. Some of them are very interesting. Rather a conflict to the packaging, but, that's what we're here to find out, isn't it? Connor K, morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Connor. Welcome back, sir. Long-standing viewer. Great to have you on board, matey. Killswitch BB. Hi, guys. Hope all is well, smiley face. Yes, everything's okay. A bit tired. Actually, very tired because I was doing that course last week. Of course, emails and phone calls and all that kind of stuff keeps mounting up in the background. And basically, I had to do all the catch up on an evening. There was one night that I didn't finish till just before 11 p.m. And I found myself, I couldn't sleep very well, back up again at 5:45. And I was busy doing a report on a dealer visit at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was really struggling to read the words on a laptop, to be honest. My eyes were so blurry, but got there, got another report submitted, job done on that one, still got a few more to go, and I'm back on the road on Monday. Monday to Thursday, visiting various motorcycle shops, lots more reports to do. So I've really got to try and keep on top of those reports, which means working on an evening to get them submitted. Otherwise, they just mount up to a point where you think, man, I've got 20 reports to do. I can't remember that much stuff for each particular dealer, so it ends up being not very meaningful. You've got to get them done as soon as you can. Otherwise, it doesn't work very well. Roger, tractor is getting rained on at the moment. We'll be using it later to clean up the last of the hedge clippings. I like that. So have you got the skill set? I'm sure you have, Roger, where there's a little tiny branch on the ground and you can get down there. I've got a 4-in-1 bucket on Trevor, so I'm just starting to learn now how to grab things with the 4-in-1 bucket and pick them up and take them places like little logs and stuff. But there's some guys out there that are bloody good with the excavators, what they can do. They can open cans of Coke, they can take lids off beer bottles and stuff. It's just, how do they do that? Very cool. Very cool indeed. Roger, not holding much hope for the pie. Always average. Yeah, bacon and egg. It's not my favourite pie, I must admit. Virginia Governor. Hello, Andy and family. How is everyone doing from South Africa? I don't know. I'm not in South Africa. You'll have to tell us how everybody in South Africa is doing. But everybody here, I think, in the live stream, that I'm sure they'll tell us if they're not. But yeah, things aren't too bad. We're sort of on schedule. Oh, some news. I've had it confirmed. Mrs. Mechanic just shook her head in dismay at me. But I've had it confirmed. We do have another batch of the footwell plates to make. So I'm just waiting for final written confirmation to come through, and then I can place the order for the laser cutting and all the fasteners and bits and pieces from Jared. You know, there's all that to do. I expect that we'll be producing those over Christmas. My schedule is so busy between now and Christmas now. I'm going to be in the South Island for almost 3 weeks, right up to Christmas, and I don't think the laser cutting will arrive, or even I can get it picked up before then. So I'm going to have to do a quick blast to Auckland just before Christmas Eve and get that steelwork picked up. That's the plan, and then we can get all that done over Christmas. So work, lots to do. Pardon me. Simon, speaking of courses, one I've done every 3 years for the last 20 years or so. So did not read the course material, just did the assessment, passed 100%. Bloody hell. But I had to go back and read it to pass. Yes. About the nearest I ever got to that was when I was one of the students in England that was the changeover from O level to GCSE. Now I know this goes back a long time. O levels, bloody hell, that was years ago, right? So I did. What did I do first? I think I did woodwork first. Yes, I did woodwork first. I did O-level woodwork. Now it's a 2-year course. Told the guy, look, I want to do it in a year, and then I can also do the metalwork course, GCSE metalwork. So I smashed out the woodwork. I think I got a B+ in that. I mean, I'm not a fan of wood, as you well know. And then I had 1 year to complete the metalwork, the GCSE metalwork course. And we had to build something. So I built a power hacksaw. I did. I haven't got it here to show you. Unfortunately, I left it in England. It's a very sad thing. Makes me pretty upset, to be honest. But that's just life, unfortunately. However, I built the power hacksaw first and then did the drawings for it. So I sort of reverse engineered it onto paper. So the drawings were absolutely bang on to what I'd actually produced, which was part of the criteria for marks. You know, how accurate were your drawings and measurements and your production of the parts that you'd drawn. So by doing it that way around, perfect, you know. What I will say is use standard hacksaw blades, which obviously they were cheap because I was a poor student at the time. I was probably only 15 years old at the time. So I couldn't afford the expensive power hacksaw blades. So I made it so it used standard hacksaw blades, fully hard hacksaw blades that was nice and cut nice and true. It used a BMX wheel because we had to reduce the speed down from the motor. So it used an XM9 was the bicycle model. It was a plastic wheel off one of my brother's bicycles that he'd wrecked. So I used that. We used an old bench grinder as the intermediate axle for the gear reduction, and it was on belts, right? And what else do we use? A BSA Bantam 175 crankshaft was used to change the rotating movement to a linear movement. And the guy, when he came down to, this is one of the board, they come down and they inspect everything that you've made and they give you marks. And this is before the exam, the written exam. And he was so impressed with it. And he was reading through I did a folder with all the drawings and stuff in it. And he was so impressed with it. He said, look, can I take it back to London? Because I was at school in York and show the board down there, you know? So we put it in the back of his car and off he went. And it had an auto stop on it, little micro switch and things. It was pretty cool. I didn't bother making the vise for it. I just purchased, because, you know, there's only so much you can do, right? So I purchased, I think it was a draper, or it might have been it was a record. It was a record pillar drill vise. That's right, which of course I haven't got anymore because it's over in England. I mean, I hope somebody's still got it rather than throwing it out, because it still worked really well until I left the UK in 2008. And everything was adjustable for wear as well. You know, it was pretty cool. As shafts and so on wore down, you could readjust it just to tighten up the tolerances. It was a manual lubrication system on it, but hey, you know, for the amount of cutting I had to do with it, It was absolutely bang on. It was on. I even made the table for it, and all the motor and the belts and stuff were all underneath the main bed. 240 volts. They were. I think it was probably back in the time that they didn't worry too much about wiring and having earths and stuff, because my wiring wasn't the greatest. But they never picked up on that. They were looking at an engineering perspective rather than an electrical perspective, I suppose. But yes, I was very, very proud of that. To make that at that age was pretty cool. And they gave me, I got full marks for my project, 100% full marks. And that I didn't even need to go and sit the exam, and I'd have still passed. Obviously, I wanted to get, top score. So I sat the exam, and I think I got an A. I don't think I got an A plus, but I got an A out of the whole thing. I wasn't that good at the written exams back then, but yeah, very proud, very happy with that. I do have some photos somewhere. Mrs. Mechanic might be able to dig them out if she's listening. But yeah, one day I'll show you. I'll share that with you. I will, because it was pretty cool. Yeah, where do we get to? Oh my word. There we go. OVI. Or OVI. I don't know. Hello from RO. Yeah, RO. Really small white letters. Is that Romania? I don't know. RO. I don't know where that is. Peter Swatman. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Peter. Welcome back to the workshop. JJ. AV 10-10 in Auckland. Oh, okay. Bacon and poached egg on toast here this morning. Oh, audio visual. 10 out of 10. Thank you very much. Sorry, it's all these acronyms and code. I have no idea. Sheldon is in the workshop. Good morning, Sheldon. Welcome back. You're here, which is great. We've been talking during the week. We regularly chat in, Sheldon, which is nice. Sheldon says, good morning. Good morning, Mrs. Mechanic. See, he always puts her first, which is polite. Good morning, Mrs. Mechanic, Mr. Mechanic, and crew. Very formal. Thank you, Sheldon. And good morning to you, sir. J. Billy Josh. Evening. Another man of many words. Good evening, J. Billy Josh. George Bonnie 90. Hello, everybody. Big thumbs up. Cheers, George. Simon. That hacksaw may well turn up at a steam rally. If it does, let me know. I would, honestly, I would love to get it back. I would, because there is only one out there, and it's quite unique. I mean, the drawings and stuff, they will have gone because they were up in the loft of the house that were left. They will have gone, I'm sure. But who knows? Hey, I've got the wheel. Oh no, we're back. It's all right. But yes, keep your eye open, Simon. That'd be cool. Maybe once we find some photos, we'll put out like a UK-wide search for it. I don't know where it'll be. I mean, it might still be in the granary, but I highly doubt it. I really do. OVI, Romania, yes. Bloody hell, I'm on point this morning. Now, very important thing to do. I've caught up with the comments. What the hell? That's not like me. So we should do, as we always do with the CB radio, we should do a comms check with the kitchen. So this is workshop to canteen. Just doing a comms check. Do you copy? She's probably sat out the front of the house having a cigarette. You wait. She'll be like, oh, for God's sake. Really? Well, we'll leave it there and see if she replies, because I did put it on quite high volume, so I'm sure she's heard it. So the pie, let's crack on with that, because I've got an ROV to service today, so I can't spend too long on the live stream. We've got an Irvines bacon and egg, so obviously steered towards the breakfast market. It's only 150 grams. It's quite a small pie. If I turn it around, you can see. Oh, you can't see the base. So we have done quite a few Irvines pies in the past. I don't think they've scored particularly well. They're sort of cheap price, average pie kind of thing. They're not bad value for money. They sort of fill a gap. I'm talking generally. I'm not talking about this particular pie because we don't know yet. But it's all right. I think we'll have to wait and see, won't we? Now, schedule for next week, just while I finish with cigarettes. Schedule for next week, on the road. Hit the road first thing tomorrow morning. Got about a 3.5 hour drive to a little place called Opotiki. That's how I pronounce it because it's a weird place, Opotiki. And it's a funny old drive because you've got to go through Rotorua, which is nearly an hour away, about 50 minutes away. And then once you leave Rotorua and you start heading out sort of northeast towards the coast where Opotiki is, it's on the coast. I mean, it's got a beautiful coastline, don't get me wrong. But the villages and townships that you go through to get there, everyone is more dilapidated and run down than the previous one. So you sort of get this impression you're driving into the abyss. You know, it's just a dead end. There's nothing really going on. And then you turn up at Opotiki and it's like a hive of industry. There's all sorts of businesses there, and it's obviously the main hub for, you know, vehicular repairs, supplies, all that kind of stuff, farming stuff. You know, so, and it's probably a holiday destination as well, given the coastline that it has. Ooh, Sheldon, looking forward to having a couple of Harbour Master beers with you in December. Chink! Me too, Sheldon. I can't bloody wait, in all honesty. It's been one hell of a year. It really has. With all the fabrication work that's been going on in the background. And, you know, it's definitely, you know, sort of held back me doing the videos. You know, at the start of the year, we got Alan's bike finished, the CB750K2. Which was a major milestone for me. It was great to get that out of the way. We also got the ultimate farm bike special finished, and we did the trip, which was a great relaxation time for me. I mean, Mrs. Mechanic said to me after the trip, she'd never seen me so happy. I'm actually quite stern. I'm quite focused. I tend not to let my guard down that often. And she said during that trip, the real Andrew came out again, which is something she hasn't seen for a long time, especially since coming to New Zealand. And I thoroughly enjoyed the trip, and I'm very much looking forward to next year's where she gets to ride. You know, I used to do that kind of stuff all the time in the UK. We used to go away and do adventure trips, and Mrs. Mechanic did a trip on a quad bike with her best friend Melly, all the way via Green Lanes, all the way to the Lake District and back on quad bikes, on road legal quad bikes. She was gone just over a week, and she thoroughly enjoyed it as well. You know, it's in our blood, that sort of adventure stuff. And it's all this work that we do here that sort of, I suppose it bogs that down a bit. We've sort of lost focus a bit and got wrapped up in all this extra work. But on the other hand, you know, it pays the bills. So it's sort of force majeure. It has to happen, doesn't it? Roger Heaps, monkey bike been out. Not since the last trip. No, the weather's been pretty crap, to be honest, up here. Whenever I've been at home, it's been raining, or it's been really overcast, or really windy, or we've had more important things to do. Although it was only yesterday, Mrs. Mechanic gave me some grief over not going for another bike ride. So we are going on next Sunday, so a week today, after the live stream. We're going to blast straight into Taupo. We're going to watch, you might remember a video that I did on, what car was it? Lotus, something or other. The blue race car. Well, Steve is racing again. He's won his championship now 2 years in a row. And there really isn't anybody else in his category of racing. I forget what it is. That's really competitive. So he feels that he's not being pushed hard enough. I was talking to him a couple of weeks ago during a dealer visit. And now he's spent some more money on the car. He's uprated the car even further, more horsepower, better tyres, better suspension system. And he's decided to go for the next category up, the top category. And obviously on Sunday, next Sunday is one, I'm not sure it's the first race, but it's one of the races of this season. And so we want to go down and support him, see how he gets on, because he's a top bloke. He really is. And he's a good driver. He's a bloody good driver, actually. If I ever went out with him in the car as a passenger, and he does have a passenger seat, I'm pretty sure he'd scare me shitless. Sheldon, I'm hearing you. I worked a decent amount of yesterday and back in it this afternoon. So it's 7 days a week, Sheldon. It's just too much. You know, I mean, I've sort of got accustomed to doing my day job during the week and then smashing stuff out on a weekend. I suppose the only real respites, it sounds weird, the respites that I get is driving, actually. I quite enjoy the driving. I find it quite relaxing. Even with a trailer on and stuff, it doesn't bother me at all. You know, and going down to the South Island, I enjoy it down there. It's a wonderful landscape, and there's some great people. It really is. It's a nice place to be. But I can't live down there. Not at the moment. There's too much going on up here. And in all honesty, I can't really afford to move down there. And I've got this workshop. I've spent a lot of time building this workshop up. And it works. It works really, really well. It's by far the best workshop I've ever had. I mean, not the biggest. It doesn't need to be huge. It's just extremely functional and very, very diverse. You can do a lot of stuff in this workshop, and everything's sort of laid out really well. I'm very happy with it. I don't want to change it. And I don't want to start again. It's a big job setting a workshop up, you know. Connor K, what does he have in his car and how many horsepower? Oh, okay. He has, now, it's got the MGF engine in it. Now, I think it's changed the engine now. I'll find out next Sunday. If I get a chance, I'll do another walk around video and try and get Steve on camera. He's very, very camera shy. But I'll try and get him to do a little talky bit about the mods that he's done to the car and a quick overview, because he's the one that knows about it. I wouldn't do it justice, in all honesty. But what I will say is it goes a lot faster than it used to do, and it went pretty damn fast before. And they handle like go-karts, those things. Watching him on the track, he's so much quicker through the corners than most of the other drivers. So Connor, hold that thought. I'm going to put it on pause, and we'll get some more information when I'm down there. Okay, Machine NZ. Hello, Andy and crew. Good morning, sir. How are you, and how is your workshop? And what have you been up to? I've not watched any of your videos recently. I've been a bit busy, but interested to find out. Sheldon, if you ever move down this way, you're welcome to use my workshop anytime. What a bloke. I may well be taking you up on that. Mrs. Mechanic is very, very keen to get down to the South Island. She really is. But no, I won't be selling this property. There's no way I'm selling this place. So what we do down there, I mean, I'd like to buy a bit of land and build something, you know, even if it's just a really meager little property, just something as a stepping stone. But we'll have to wait and see. It's all money, and things are very expensive these days. And time. Maybe I need to retire early. Build my own house. That'd be cool. Thank you, Sheldon. I do appreciate that. I really do. Roger Heaps, my 19-year-old son, has passed his Class 5 license. Oh, well done. He was up for that, wasn't he? This week. He was driving a milk tanker yesterday, up to 58 tons. Holy crap. Good lad. He seems pretty grounded when it comes to driving, so I'm sure he'll be quite fine on the road. And if he's grown up around a farm, driving tractors and stuff and all that kind of thing, he's going to be very spatially aware, which is very important with a big truck like that. Simon, was the MGF not a Honda engine? It might have been. I remember there's a bit of a timeline going on. I remember going down to his house a few years ago now when he had the car. It had a bit of a prang, so he'd fixed it all up, and the engine was out, and it was the engine that he had the head bolts go all the way down to right down into the I think it also holds a crank carrier in place as well, if I remember rightly. So the head bolts are really, really long, steel, and of course the engine is aluminium, and they are well known for failing on the head gasket because of this thermal expansion contraction sort of discrepancy, so to speak. And sure enough, that engine had blown a head gasket. He did get it. I'm sure he got it fixed up, but I also have a feeling that he did change the engine as well. He actually binned that one eventually, went across to a different engine. So I think you could be right, Sam. He may well have put a Honda engine in, but we'll find out. I'm not entirely sure. Yes, main caps. There you go. Connor K, congratulations on getting a HGV license. Absolutely. And that's a great career move because, better money, I'm sure. Bigger truck, better money, right? More responsibility. Machine NZ, not much workshop time at the moment. Just started scratch building a Hoglet V-twin. loosely based on a Harley Davidson engine. It's a model engine. Oh, very cool. Um, Going back to when I did my GCSE metalwork, the go-to project for our school, for Baz, he was my metalwork teacher. He's passed away now, unfortunately. Passed away quite a few years ago. Top bloke, very stressed. One of the kind of teachers that when you did something really wrong or you pissed him off, he would throw something at you. I mean, that's frowned upon these days, but back then, it's sort of the norm. It happened quite regularly in our workshop. Um, and he designed a little model steam engine, and he had all the drawings and stuff for it. And the students that were maybe not quite so, I don't know, creative, would basically build one of those steam engines for their project. And it was great fun. It was, I mean, watching them build the steam engines and getting them running and everything was fantastic. But I was really focused on, I want to build something that I've designed, it made it quite different. I mean, Baz originally, I don't know whether he had confidence in me doing it or not. But when it all started to come together, when he saw the final project, he was very impressed because he'd had no input. I've made a lot of the components at school in class. I made quite a few at home. The stuff that I could make at home, I made at home. The steel plates and the basic stuff that didn't require any machining, just hole drilling and stuff. All that got made at home. And the table, I welded that up at home. But he didn't really see the whole thing come together until I brought it into school and went, there you go, I've made it. And he's like, shit. I didn't get any help from anybody else. Dad wasn't really that mechanically minded. He was always busy doing other stuff. It was my project, and I did it, and I was very, very proud of it, I must admit. She says, we'll be YouTube videoing the build. I will be watching that. Send me a link. Remind me. Send me a link on an email. UK Mechanic. MGF case series, that's right, 1.6, 1.8 twin cam, 16 valve, summer variable valve, renowned for head gasket issues. They're a terrible machine. I remember years ago when I was in the UK, a good friend of mine, Jonathan, he had his own garage. We got on with him very, very well. He had an MGF in the workshop at the time with overheating problems. And they'd fixed the head gasket because it had blown a head gasket, but it still wasn't quite right. It was still overheating, and he was scratching his head for ages. And he had a lead mechanic that worked for him, good bloke. I can't remember his name, but I'm sure he had is it OCD, where you can't stay running around. He had so much energy, this guy, and when he spoke really fast. He was already trying to say the next sentence before he finished the first one. But they pulled it all apart, pulled all the pipe work out that was related to the heater matrix and the cooling system, and they found the valve. When you put your heater onto hot or cold, there's a little valve that opens and closes. Well, that valve, which I think was even mounted in one of the pipes, can't quite remember now, but it had disintegrated, and some of the valve parts had got wedged down a pipe, causing a blockage or a semi-blockage. And that was the reason for the overheat. But he said it was an absolute shit to work on because everything was so tight to get to. But they solved the problem. And, perseverance. They went back to basics and said, look, let's check the flow. And sure enough, they found the issue. So, well done, Jonathan. Good job. And your mechanic, obviously. The Jane Governor. Machine NZ. What is your YouTube channel name, please? It is Machine NZ. Machine NZ. The Jane Governor channel is Machine NZ. Have uploaded 4 videos of the build so far. Oh, brilliant. I might try and watch that this evening then. Excellent. Now then, Sheldon. Nice. A local machinist built a twin from scratch. Valves, cam, everything. He said making the rings was the hardest part. I bet it was. Jeez. Vijay, thank you, no problem. To Machine NZ, obviously. Sheldon, cool, very cool. To build your own engine is pretty damn cool, isn't it? Pretty cool. There was a competition. There's a competition run by one of the Auckland universities where they do. It's not go-kart racing. They actually build themselves like a little race car. And one team in Auckland used a YZ450F engine, but they made it a V twin. So they had basically, 2 cylinders, both with the 450cc pistons and bits and pieces in there, 2 heads and everything. So it's a V-twin based on a YZ 450F. So now it was a 900 cc engine, and they put it in the car and they said it was too powerful, and they had to take it out and put the single cylinder back in again. Unbelievable how quick that thing would have gone, because they were super light little cars. But I managed to find the blueprints. I think I just started working for Yamaha at the time, and it was in there was a little story in a trade magazine about it that we get. So I did a bit of research, and they'd even published the blueprints for the V-twin engine, and they'd done a fantastic job. Really, really cool. Right. So before I do the pie, next week, on the road till Thursday night, coming home.
I think it's time the pie went in the oven.
Ooh. I think you're right. I was just about to put the pie in the pie oven, but thank you for the reminder. Good job. Coffee's getting a bit cold. Right. Okay. Yes. On the road till Thursday night. Coming on Thursday night. Might be going up to Auckland on Friday. Don't know yet. If I do, I can get rid of the ROV, provided we finish it today for the service. No pressure, Andy. Right. The pie. If you just joined us, Irvines bacon and cheese, a breakfast pie. It says a New Zealand classic, so we'll wait and see. Right, to camera, Andy, to camera. Okay, we're going in. Comments. Keep firing the comments through, but I can't answer them just yet. We're busy. Okay, there we go, look. Boom. Right, there is your pie. Looks pretty opaque. Oh, my word. Got some bit of burning stuff off the plate, off the oven there. Look, right, there you go, look. There is the pie. Structurally very integral at the moment. There's no issues at all. Although we've got, oh no, that's all right. That's fine. Don't worry about that bit. It's just an indent. There we go. Right, let's go and get this in the pie warmer before Mrs. Mechanic gives me any more grief. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right, go for a wander. Not too fast, Andy, not too fast. It feels ages since we did a pie review. Probably isn't that long ago. Okay, no, I've not cleaned it. It's just, it adds extra flavour. It's fine. I bet Sheldon's not cleaned his yet either. Okay, 23 minutes. There we go. It's in. Tick, 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 tick. Wonderful. Okay. So anything in the workshop to show you at this point in time? Oh, man, not really. Not really. There isn't, actually. I still haven't cleaned the stuff. The last of the ratty infected stuff. That's still sat on the bench. That'll get done. Oh, roof. Yes, these are the roofing bolts, roofing screws that we use. Look at those. So as you can tell, the box is no longer full. Hint, hint. Let me talk to you about that. Right, back on the bench. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. So, last Sunday, the roof. What did we do? Well, on the Saturday, got to go from memory now. On the Saturday, we sort of finished off the last of the woodwork, so nearly finished the last of the timber pieces to go up on the roof, with a view on Sunday to getting the first of the sheets put down on the roof. And Sunday morning after the live stream, I had a little bit more to do, probably a couple of hours worth of work. We got it pretty much sorted out. And then after lunch, I think it was, and it was very hot actually. The sun was very strong. It wasn't hot in the air, but the sun was extremely strong, as it is in New Zealand now, when there's no clouds around. We managed to get, I think, 6 or all of the full sheets to go up. So the main body of the roof is now covered. We just got the last sheet on, and Mrs. Mechanic goes, right, I'm going to make a coffee. She went into the kitchen and she went, stop, no, we can't do any more. It's too dark in the kitchen. And I'm like, think of an advantage. It'll keep the kitchen cool in the summer, honey. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Okay, cool. Okay, yeah, that's fine then. But yeah, it is actually significantly darker in the kitchen now. And you've got to put the light on most of the time to do anything. So yeah, and we've not finished the roof yet. There's still all the end pieces to put on, which you need the cuts on them and stuff. When that's going to happen, sure as hell isn't going to be next weekend. I don't think. It might. No, you see, if I go up to Auckland on the Friday and do an RIV swap, we'll be servicing Saturday. If I don't go to Auckland on Friday, then possibly on the Saturday we can finish the roof. That will be a good thing. That'll be a really good thing. So, but servicing has to come as well because I've got 3 RIVs to get serviced before Christmas, and I've looked at my schedule and it's impossible. It can't happen. So I now have the impossible to do because they need those machines for when the season starts, which is essentially Christmas. They get really busy. And this one was in a pretty bad state, to be honest. In fact, it's over 3 years old. It should have already been sold, but they can't buy a new one at the moment, so it's got another year to do. So quite a big servicing bill on this one, I think, by the time we finished. Now, where do we get to? Simon, that's told you. It did, didn't it? Told me straight up. Whose idea was it? It was my idea to have CB radios, so hey, only got myself to blame. Sheldon. The Giant! Andy, I might be wrong, but I think you already have the exact same pie before. I don't think we did. Let's go and have a look. So I've got the pie wrapper. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Let's go and have a look. I did have a quick squiz yesterday before we, in readiness for the trip. So this is an Irvines bacon and egg. Right. So we're looking for Irvines down the left. Irvines. Oh, there's an Irvines the Beast. Beef, bacon and cheese. Different pie. Irvines steak and cheese. Different pie. What have we got down here? Any more Irvines? No more Irvines on there. How about this side? Patiki, Bakerman's, Pats, Miss Max, Irvines. Oh, Irvines potato top beef. Irvines 6-pack steak and cheese. That was crap. So don't buy the 6-packs. No, that's it. So I think, unless we didn't do a thingy for it, which I usually do, we haven't done this one yet. So thanks for the double check. It's always good to double check, but I don't think we've done it yet. So we're all good. Besides, I'm getting hungry anyway. I'm going to eat it regardless. Okay. Yes, I know the Trump is still on the bench. It'll be on there for a while yet. Still no special tools. It's all right. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Yes, so there you go. So we have got a normal a pie we haven't done yet. So good to check. Okay. Sheldon. Yep, you'd be right. Adds to the flavour. I remember going to a friend's house years and years ago when I was a mere child, really. In fact, no, I'd have been 17 because I had my DT125R with the power valve. Cool bike. Black and red it was till it got stolen. Bloody gypsies, honestly. Different story. So I went to his house. He had a CG125 Honda, which is amazing. It never blew up because he always used to smoke when he was filling up with petrol, which is most bizarre. He used to scare me shitless in his garage while he was filling up, out of a little 1-gallon can, glug, 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 and he had a cigarette in his mouth. I mean, what the hell? Seriously? Anyway, survived. And he decided, I stayed over one night, because that's what you do now and again, with mates. And in the morning, he cooked breakfast. So he got this frying pan, and I'm not kidding, the frying pan must have been half an inch thick in sort of congealed bits of bacon and lard, and it was all, and I looked at it and went, what the hell? Never seen a frying pan like it. All the ones at home had always been cleaned and put away, and I'm like, this isn't going to be good, Anyway, warmed it up, chucked in some sausages and some bacon and a few eggs, and off we went and tucked into breakfast. And man, that breakfast tasted phenomenal. Absolutely amazing. One of the best fried breakfasts I have ever had. It was really, really tasty. So I can see why I did it. And I think probably if I lived on my own, my frying pan would look exactly the same as that. But Mrs. Mechanic does keep them very clean and tidy and puts them all away. She's very good in the kitchen, in the galley, as Connor would call it. Yes, it did taste good. It tasted really good. So I'm not afraid of a bit of surplus stuff from last time round, Oh, there's no flies in it. Flies about. I think that tastes nice. Add lupus umbra. Remember that? Oh my God, an empty workshop, lol. Yes, it is. Everything's outside. And the reason for that is in order for me to get into the workshop and do a live stream, I have to push all the bikes outside because the vast majority of those bikes are blue, which is a particular color that relates to a particular brand, and they're not allowed to be shown on the channel. So that's fine. They go outside. And besides, we're going to be working, in the workshop all day, so I need the space to do what we need to do. But when everything comes back in, I won't say it's full to the gunnels anymore, but it's pretty full. We've managed to shed a couple of bikes. Ben took another one back, and we sold Tool Girl Lilli's bike. That's gone. Very happy chap. He's riding it every day. I think he's one of Ben's flatmates. So Ben's keeping an eye on it, and I think he had to up the idle a little bit the other day because it was stalling at lights. But other than that, it's going really well. Sewing machine. He got himself a good little bike there. Simon, how's your brake piston puller tool holding up? Brake piston puller tool. I used it yesterday actually. It's working really, really well. Nothing broken. It just does the job, and it's very quick, and it doesn't cause any harm to the pistons, obviously, as well. So, in fact, hang on, I'm going to show it on camera because Sheldon wants to get one of these, and I think I forgot to send it to him. So, let me go and get it. Hang on a second. Right, Sheldon, are you there? Come back to the camera. Come back to your TV. Right, you ready? This is what you need. One of these. Now, there's a couple of different brands out there. They all look almost identical. What was it? About $200 and something. There you go. Look, I'll put it up again. So it's this one. It arrived in a couple of weeks. It wasn't that bad. It's a couple of $100. Nielsen. This one. Motorcycle brake piston removal tool set. Extremely good. Very, very pleased I got it, and it was all down to Simon that I got one because I actually didn't know they even existed for motorcycle stuff until he mentioned it, and it gets used an awful lot. It's just brilliant. It saves a lot of time, it's very convenient, and it works, and it's not messy. Sure, you can pump grease into them, you can use compressed air, which is a bit often doesn't work, especially when they're really seized because you can't get enough pressure. You can make an adapter and pump grease into them, it gets really messy. I made a tool where it actually has a master cylinder off a clutch off the RAV4 actually, so I can actually hydraulically push them out. Again, you end up with brake fluid all over the place. It works, but it's a bit messy and it takes longer. This is really quick, and I don't think I've actually failed getting a piston out with that kit. I've not had to revert back to using the hydraulic one, so very, very pleased with it indeed, and strongly recommend you purchase one. It's surprising how many motorcycle shops out there don't have that kit or a similar kit. Bizarre, isn't it? Especially in a workshop where time is money, you've got to work efficiently, and it really speeds things up. So Sheldon, you need one. Awesome. I was going to ask for a look of it. If you didn't catch it off the live stream, let me know, and I'll take a picture of it now. In fact, Sheldon, let's do a live communication on Messenger on the live stream. How cool is that? Right, so we'll take a picture. Boom, boom, boom. There you go, picture taken. And then we'll open up Messenger for Sheldon, which is around here somewhere. There he is. And we're going to send you the picture. Look at that. Send. It's on its way. Modern technology. Fantastic. Right, let's stick that back over there again. So you need one of them. Roger, do you know there's a factory turbo kit available? Don't tell Mrs. Mechanic, a turbo for the Jimny. A factory one. Holy shit. Maybe. Probably after warranties run out. Maybe. I've got all the bull bars and winch and stuff on it yet, so I'm going to be burning my spare pocket money doing that, I think. Simon, if the pistons are really stuck, 2 pry bars back to back inside the piston. Okay, I could maybe try that. I've never had one that I've not got out, I must admit. And I've even made an adapter for my big slide hammer to work with that kit, because the slide hammer you get, it's a little bit small, but the big one, it's gonna come out right. So yeah, cool. Another little trick of the trade there, Simon. Thank you. Shot a video on my YouTube. I will have to send me a link. Send me a link, because I'm terrible. Send me a link. I'll watch it, because I'll forget otherwise. Looks like we're watching YouTube videos tonight, Mrs. Mechanic. 4 from Machine NZ and 1 of Simon's. Excellent. Look forward to that. No coffee's turned up. Oh dear. Right. So where are we at? We're waiting for the pie to warm up, and I've run out of comments. So we've covered what we did last week. We've covered what we're going to do next week. The week after, I'm doing visits, doing a run down the west coast of the North Island, and I'll finish in Palmerston North is one of them, New Plymouth, Hawera, Stratford, and then finally Wanganui, and then home on the Thursday night. Ooh, got a message. Hang on. Oh, cheers, Simon. Thank you. I'll be watching that later for sure. So home on the Thursday night. So there is a possibility I could get up to Auckland that Friday. Maybe. So that would be a good way of swapping across the RRVs again if need be. Oh, Christ, I don't even get another one done before then. I'll have to wait and see. For Giant, Andy, have you got any new tools? No. We got the pulse tester for the injectors. That was one of the last things, and then obviously Irvines pressure transducer turned up. I've not even had a go at playing with that yet. If I get time this afternoon, given the fact I've got a known good ROV here, I might be able to make up the adapter that I need and get a known good waveform. It'd be pretty cool. Is it going to happen? I don't know. There's quite a lot involved on this service, so maybe not. I don't know. But I've got 2 more coming in between now and Christmas. One of them probably will be stuck here till some point in the new year. You know, or maybe just before New Year's Eve, I'll be able to get it back up to Auckland, do a day out on the driving with Mrs. Mechanic as a break from doing all the plates and stuff. Don't know, or maybe I can get it back when I go and pick up the plates just before Christmas. All depends. I actually, I don't think I will be able to. I don't think we'll be able to get it done in time. No. So we'll see. No new tools at this point in time. I had to hold up on the tools. We have got an air dryer coming for the air compressor setup. That I chased. It should be here by now. I have chased it, and it hasn't arrived yet in New Zealand. It's coming from the UK, I think, from memory. Roger, big bumpers, etc. Probably void warranty anyway. There are only a couple of options that Suzuki approve of. Well, it's going to get an ARB bull bar on it. It's probably going to get an ARB rear bumper on it. It's going to get a winch on it, which will be a Warn, no doubt. It probably will actually get the wraparound bars that run down the side of the vehicle as well, that tie into the 2 bull bars. It does make them a lot wider, but it sure as hell protects them. The Safari's got those on the front, so the Nissan Patrol has got those on the front, and they've been extremely useful to protect the wings, because there's been a few impacts over the years. I remember we were doing our drive through Europe on the way to New Zealand, and we parked somewhere. I can't remember where it was. It was some town, middle of the night, and there was along the side of the street, like you get in France, there's these steel bollards that protect the pavement from the road. And for some reason, we had the trailer on the back, and for some reason I'd driven maybe a bit too far forwards. The bull bar does stick out quite a long way in my defence, and I just clinked onto the bollard. And Ben was like, "Oh, you hit the bollard, Dad." Yeah, be all right. And it had moved the bollard a little bit, but all it did was take a little bit of the plastic coating off the bull bar. Didn't cause any problems. Oh, somebody at the door. Hang on. Oh, Slimer. Thanks, honey. Fresh coffee. Hee. Thanks, Mrs. Mechanic. She never lets me down. She's brilliant. Really, really good. Right. So yeah, bull bars, very, very useful. They work. Now then, where do we get to? Hang on. Roger, Machine is off now, Andy. We'll watch the rest later. Thanks. All good, matey. Thank you for your contribution, and I'm looking forward to watching your videos tonight. It'll make a good respite from watching Car SOS. Although we have started a new series, The Devil's Hour, which is actually pretty cool. So we're 3 episodes in now. We did that last night, so I'm sure we'll be doing some more of that tonight as well. Daz 323323. Are you going to give Attersbar an award for the best pie? Yeah, I suppose we can only give the award when I actually officially sort of stop doing the pie reviews. It might yet be beaten. I don't know, but they should get something, shouldn't they? We should go down and say this is an award, and a mechanic award, best pie ever. Quite a unique award because nobody else will have that, will they? There's an awful lot of pie awards around New Zealand, and different pie shops get different awards and stuff, so it gets a bit confusing, but obviously the Andy Mechanic Award will be the pinnacle of all awards, no doubt. Roger, ARB are definitely not allowed. Guy I know had to wait for approved tow bar, wasn't allowed ARB that was available. What? Really? Well, the tow bar is being supplied with the vehicle, but hey, doesn't matter, does it? We'll just make it work. We've got a MIG, you know, we can do stuff. Simon, but thanks, Roger. Simon, what about a Nespresso machine for the workshop? No need for a fridge. Oh, mate, you're getting a bit posh now. We're lucky we've got a pie warmer in here. It's taken me how many years to get a pie warmer? I don't drink coffee that often. Well, we do actually, but no, I think coffee, you know, hot drink making facilities should be in the house. I mean, the house isn't very far from the workshop. It will be, you know, a bit of a double up. And I mean, if I bought one of those machines from the workshop, Mrs. Mechanic would not be happy. She'd want it in the house, believe me. Oh, hot coffee. That's good. Now then. Yes, we're there. Okay. So, the following week, West Coast, home for Thursday night, hopefully. Back home Friday. Scheduled for... I mean, I have to have time to do admin work as well. But, I don't know. And then I think... Yes, the week after that. Actually, the week after that, on the Monday, I have to go back down to Palmerston North and collect an ROV with the big trailer. So that's a full day's drive there and back. We're hoping to pick up some more timber on the way back for the deck, the main beams for the floor of the deck, so that over Christmas I can have a few days putting all that in, you know, doing all that side of it, which is quite a big job because there's a lot of posts to sink into the ground as well, you know, concrete them in. So that's quite a lot of work. I'll have to get some more builder's mix. I think we might have enough cement. I'll have to get some more builder's mix at least. Maybe a few more bags of cement, just be on the safe side. And then we can get that framework put in, and then it's only a job of just putting the top boards on. So that would be really, really cool to get the deck done for the new year. But man, we're stacking up the work, you know. I mean, there's all those plates to do as well, so, and ROVs to service. This is only one club, and there's 3 other clubs that are all going to be ringing me up in the next few days, I'm sure, saying, "Can you service our machines before we start the season?" And it's like, I can't fit them in. We'll have to do them in January, you know. It's a bit of a problem. Only one of me. Lost in Space. Great movie. And series, actually, the old series. What brand is your lathe in the back? Well, that one over there is a Boxford. And I purchased it from a school. Well, actually, it wasn't directly. It came out of a school up near Warkworth, north of Auckland, about an hour or so north of Auckland. And a guy that lives up there, he bought two. And he kept one and sold the other one, and the other one is this one, and it's in really good nick. It works extremely well. It's not particularly worn, being a school one. It does have an issue at the moment where there's a thermal coupling on the drive to the motor where if you use it for too long, it cuts out, and it takes quite a while to cool down to allow the motor to be driven again. I've come up with a bypass for that for now. You just get the airline and blow it into the switch, and it cools down the bimetal strip, and away you go again. But that's not the answer. I do need to replace that bimetal strip. It's definitely cutting out way before it should do. So I think it's somehow gone faulty over the years. But other than that, it's brilliant. We do have a little Myford, a little tiny Myford lathe, which is currently in many pieces. In fact, as many pieces as you can make it, to be honest. Which is a project which at some point will go back together. Once I can remember how to do it, and I've got the last few parts. I'm not far off, but I do need a few more bits, I think. Simon, thank you for that. Connor K, click the like. Thank you, Connor. Yes, please do click the like. Now, Lost in Space must be about 20 by 30 inch. Well, the bed is probably about 800 or 900 mil, something like that. And the depth that I can cut, hang on, let's go measure it. I can't remember now. Probably about 115 millimeters diameter. You know, radius, double. So 230 mil diameter disc is about as big as you can get in there, I think, by the looks of it. I have come pretty close, and if you those that watch the Myford stuff, you'll remember that Dave Cole, who owned it previously, actually ground out some of the bed to get a slightly larger, not on that one, on the Myford, a slightly larger component in the chuck to machine it down, which is, sorry Dave, absolute sacrilege. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't grind the bed like that. It's terrible. But hey, wasn't my lathe at the time, and it is what it is. Very good shop. Need a lathe and a mill. I'm a retired machinist. Yes, we have the mill. I don't know if you see the mill. I'll show you the mill. I'll show you Sheldon's mill. Hang on. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Now the pie is ready. It's gone ping. So we'll go and get the pie after this. This is the mill. Now, so far, I have to admit, I haven't really used it as a milling machine yet. It's currently set up for doing countersinks on those steel plates that we do. And I'm very reluctant to change it into anything else at the moment because, well, we've got another batch to do. So, you know, it's all good. Oh, need to turn my battery charger on. Come on. There we go. Right. Battery charger on. Got to connect that back up again. This is a battery that I've been testing. It's one out of a R3, but it happens to be exactly the same size battery as the DR200 takes. So I'm hoping that this one is going to be okay. I did a load test yesterday on it, and it performed phenomenally well. Although that was immediately after charging up. So I left it overnight, and you know, oh, there we are. Look, that's better. And oh, pie, Jesus, hang on, turn around. Yeah, so fingers crossed that's going to be the battery for the DR200 now, because I used mine on Tool Girl Lilli's bike. Right, the pie. Has it split due to thermal expansion? It's got a little tiny crack at the front here, but not a lot. Base looks pretty good. It's actually very hot. Jeez, it's really hot. Holy moly. Hang on. Bear with me. Burn my fingers. Whoa. Wow, that's hot. Okay, turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. There we go. Okay, I think we're about right there, almost. Okay, so we are an hour and 5 minutes of Andy waffle. Okay. Thank you for showing. Good show. No worries. It's an old Russian lathe, I think, from memory, that one. Not sure. I know it's a Russian vice. We did have a look at one point. I forget again. I've got a terrible memory now. Okay, so those that have just joined us, because we always get a few just jump in for the pie review. This is an Irvines bacon and egg pie. Not really one of the ones, a flavour that I'd normally go for, although I do like bacon and eggs, don't get me wrong. But to me, having it in a pie, it doesn't do the bacon and eggs justice. I like nice crispy bacon and nice runny eggs, and you don't obviously get that in a pie. Oh, hang on. We've got another one of these to remind me tomorrow. Thank you very much. There we go. So Lost in Space, no problems at all. Happy to show you around the workshop whenever you need. And yeah, I'm actually looking very much forward to using the milling machine as a milling machine. But at the moment, I've not had any jobs that need that. So, you know. Right, quick squiz round. It is starting to cool down a bit now. Hopefully it'll be in focus for you. Boom, 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 boom. Maybe try and get it about the same height as my face, and then that way the camera sort of focuses. There we go, look. Top side, it's got a H for Harry on the top. H for hot, in this case. Base looks good. The sealant between the lid and the base is extremely good. No problems there at all. It's quite a sturdy pie. It's very small. It's a little tiny pie. It's quite thin. It's not very deep at all. Right, I'm going in. It might be ridiculously hot, so you know, forgive me if I have my mouth open for too long. Right. Okay, gonna abort mission. That was red hot. We'll give it a minute. Holy crap! I'm just gonna sit it on the steel bench now to draw some of the heat out pretty quick. So yeah, South Island. Oh, sorry. That next week. So I've got it all in my head now. What I'm doing. So, first week, next week, East Coast and some of the central stuff. Following week, West Coast down to Wanganui, back home Monday to Thursday. Quite a few visits on that one. The following week after that, so 3 weeks away, I've got to go down to Palmerston North, pick up an ROV on the Monday, come home, and then go up to Auckland on the Tuesday with that ROV, and I can piggyback one of the ones we've serviced back to Auckland then. And then I'm in meetings for the Wednesday and the Thursday, so there'll be no comms, there'll be no dealer support really, apart from an evening, because I'm in a meeting. You shouldn't be using your laptop in a meeting. I know that. Or your phone. You're in a meeting. And then on the Friday, I'll be playing catch up during the day on all my admin. And then Friday night is our Christmas staff party. And I will be there. I'm looking forward to that. And I've decided to make the judgment call for the first time in 5 years to stay in Auckland on the Friday night and not have to drive home, because it does make it a very, very late night. And in all honesty, I can only have one drink. And even that's frowned upon if you're driving. So do the responsible thing, stay in Auckland on the Friday night, come home on the Saturday. So that Saturday, I'm going to lose a good half-day workshop time. In reality, probably won't even bother opening the workshop up that day, and just maybe going to Taupo for the afternoon with Mrs. Mechanic and just try a bit of me time. Yeah, bit of me and Mrs. Mechanic time would be nice. Yes, because I'll be going away. So I've got the Sunday at home, so I'll be doing a live stream, and then something in the workshop on the Sunday probably. And then on the Monday morning, I'd leave for the east coast of the North Island again, across to Napier. So heading southeast down to Napier. It's about 2.5 hours drive from here. And then work my way down the east coast all the way to Wellington for the Thursday night. Be in Wellington. I'll have the little trailer with me, the small trailer, on the ferry for the Friday, and then I'll be in the South Island Friday afternoon, down to Rangiora. I've got storage for the trailer down there. I've got to drop the trailer off, and then I've got to get working my way all the way down think I end up at Queenstown for the weekend. Yes, for the Saturday I get to Queenstown. Sunday live stream in Queenstown again. Always seems to be Queenstown, doesn't it? Good pubs in Queenstown though, although they're not cheap. And then down to Invercargill. No, sorry, Balclutha. Down to Balclutha for the Sunday night. Dealer visits Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I think, yeah, Wednesday. And then Thursday I drive back down to Invercargill, where I've got some field research to do for 3 days. And then drive all the way back up, pick up the trailer, and I've got a quad bike to pick up. And I may also then have to go across to Nelson, across to Nelson and pick up a motorcycle and then come home. And I'll get home, I think, on the 22nd of December. So away for a long time. Got quite a lot of things to do on that run. A lot of Ks because I'm going halfway back up the South Island to go back down again, but that's just the way the schedule's turned out. I didn't want to rearrange all my dealer visits again because I've got some training to do and it's important I have the staff on site for that training. So, you know, it is what it is. It's a day's drive, but an extra day's driving, but what the hell? It's all right. I don't mind driving. Okay. We're going to try again with the pie. Hopefully it's cooled down a bit. We're going in. Well, it's cooled down a lot, actually. There you go. You can see the steam coming out of it, maybe. Just. Okay, so those that have just joined us, Irvines bacon and egg pie. Not my first choice of pie by any means, but I do like bacon and eggs. So we'll see how Irvines portray this bacon and egg. It looks quite mushy inside. So the bacon is all sort of mixed up with the egg. So lots of small bits of bacon. Oh, hang on. What's that? We've got something. Anything important? No. Nothing important at the moment. Okay, so we need a pen and we're going to do the taste flavor rating. What's it like? Well, there's some more internal view. I only have 3 bites, but it's a tiny, you can see how small a pie it is, can't you? Very small pie. You don't get a lot for your money. But the taste, flavor, contents. So we're talking about the bacon and the egg flavor. It's all right. It doesn't taste bad. There's no weird aftertastes. Seems to be okay. I'm going to give it a 6. I think we'll give it a 6. Okay. Structure for the partners. Well, at the moment, it's incredibly well put together. There is zero structural issues whatsoever. I've got a very small crack down here, but it's only superficial. Underside, absolutely perfect. So we'll hang on to that thought. It might start to break up, but I don't think it will. But we'll just hold that one back for a little bit. Runnability test. Look, it's not going to run anyway. It's absolutely rock solid, this pie. Would definitely lend itself extremely well to being eaten whilst driving, should that need arise. You know, zombie apocalypse or whatever, where there's force majeure involved, because obviously it's illegal to eat a pie whilst driving here in New Zealand, so I couldn't endorse that. There's your covenant. But very, very stable pie. You're not going to get anything down the front of your nice work shirt or on your nicely pressed trousers if you're that way inclined. So we've got to give it 10 out of 10 for that. Its runnability is phenomenal. Meat quality. Bacon tastes a bit fluffy. It's by no means crunchy. It's all right. I mean, we've not had any gristly stuff yet, so we'll put that one on hold as well because there's a lot more to go at yet. Pie to crust ratio. Well, it's a very small pie. It's the thickness of the contents is only about 12, 13 mil, maybe half an inch, you know, in thickness. So it's not a very deep pie at all. Pastry on the base is about 3 mil, maybe 4 mil at the most, and across the top is basically the same. So we've, you know, overall We've got about a third depth of pastry, 2/3 of contents. The sides are also pretty slim. We look here at a joint. We normally see big mounds of pastry in that area there, big build of pastry. That isn't the case. It's pretty much maintains its thickness all the way through that join, and it's staying really well joined. So they've obviously used some very good glue on this one. So pastry to filling ratio. Could it be better? I mean, could be better, really, I suppose. Yes, I'm going to give it an 8. It's not bad, though. It's not bad. I'll give it an 8. Now, available logistics. The Irvines pies are available at many of the dairies. I think you can buy them online. Well, you can, because they're also available through supermarkets. So you can get them via the supermarkets online. A few petrol stations have them as well. They're a well recognized brand. They're available across New Zealand. So I'm going to give them, for availability, but not at every dairy. Some dairies have different brands of pies. I'm going to give them an 8. I think an 8's fine. Pastry taste rating. Right, here goes. This is definitely just a bit of pastry. There's absolutely no content on there at all. And what I'm looking out for is any kind of weird aftertaste. Is it too soggy? Is it too dry? No weird aftertaste whatsoever. It wasn't soggy, and it wasn't too dry. It was actually not bad, really. For an Irvines pie, it wasn't bad at all. So pastry taste rating. Actually, saying that, there's a very slight aftertaste. I'm going to give it a 7 for that. Packaging design. Well, it's pretty bright. It's got a color-coded band on there, so if you want one of these, you just look for an orange band on an Irvines pie, and you're going to get the right one. It's got a window. You can see sort of the opaque pie in there. It's got quite a nice logo. Doesn't look over traditional. It's quite a modern style. It's very bright and shiny. We've seen better takes on traditional, and I mean they've been doing these since 1917. So I think if I was designing a packet like this, I would go for more of a traditional sort of matte finish, make it look a bit more classy. You know, try and push that been around for a long time aspect, over 100 years. There's a lot of information on the back as well, sort of barcode and things. Yeah, there's a bit of work gone into it. Is it perforated? No, it's not perforated plastic. So the pie can sweat in there. No, there's no perforations. Okay. So first burp, by the way. Packaging design. I think it could be improved, but that's only my personal take on it. I'm going to give them 7, 8. It's got a window. Let's give them an 8. I think they've included a window, which I think is important. It's nice to be able to see the products that you're purchasing. Recyclable score. Well, it's plastic. Is it recyclable? It is not. There is no recyclable symbol on the packaging whatsoever. So it's not recyclable. It has to go in the bin, which is a bit bad for New Zealand because we're all about recycling nowadays. So it gets, well, I suppose it gets a 0, doesn't it? You know, does it get a 0? It should really get a 0. I hate giving things a 0. You know, plastic. I mean, plastics can be, but you have to know what type of plastic it is to be able to recycle it. I don't think it's recyclable. It gets a 0. Post-pie heartburn. Already had one burp, so hang in there. Pie server attractiveness. Mrs. Mechanic bought this, and she bought this from a store the next village up, and I think we give them, I think they get a 6 from memory. They get a 6. There is a young lass there that works. Right, it's getting cold. I'm going to keep going. That's something to bear in mind with the small pies. It has a very small thermal mass. They get cold quick. Now, comments. Mike Adams, howdy all. Andy, sounds like both of us are working away from home this week. I have to go up to Washington District of Corruption tomorrow. Ooh. Okay, Mike, well, safe travels. That wasn't Mrs. Mechanic, that was somebody else on the rig. Lost in Space. You could make a tin foil oven wrapped around your header pipe on the motorbike and have a hot pie when you reach your destination. That's a very good idea. We should try that on Mrs. Mechanic's trip in March next year. We should do that because she likes the odd pie, chicken pies mainly. Mike, I get a thing for breakfast at some of the truck stops here in the States that are a kind of burrito style sage sausage wrapped in maple syrup waffle that tastes pretty good. Well, maple syrup waffle sounds pretty good. I like that. And sagey sausage. It sounds like it could be a pretty good combination. All they're lacking is a bit of bacon. If it had a bit of bacon in there as well, that would be really, really good. Simon, that was Iceman calling, lol. Could well be. Right, going in. That was a good bite. It definitely tastes of bacon and egg. There's no doubt about that. I'm not too sure what that bit is. What do you think that might be? Is that plastic? Well, let me put it to you. That is definitely not bacon. And it is definitely not egg. It's something else, Irvine Pies. It has the texture of plastic, but it does break reasonably easily. You can't see this on camera, but yeah, I think that's plastic. Lovely. Bit of plastic in my pie. Great job. How are we going to down them on that one, Max? Where can we put that? Meat quality. Some of it's not even meat. Let me think about that. And the question is that the only piece? How many more bits have I already eaten? Okay, Structure Folly Partners. Man, this pie has done really well. 10 out of 10. Absolutely perfect. Cannot fault it for that whatsoever. Meat quality. The bacon's pretty good. I'm okay with it, actually. It's tasty for what it is. It's not nice, crispy bacon out the frying pan for sure, but it's a pie. It can't be. And they're not bad sized chunks either, actually. It's not, like we've seen in some pies, little tiny shavings of meat. It's you know, they're probably 5 to 8 millimeters square, cube, I suppose, on average. So it's not too bad. I'm going to give it an 8 for meat quality. Still tasty when cold. Cold egg. Cold bacon's fine. Cold egg. You do eat cold egg with salads and stuff. I think it would be edible. I wouldn't have a problem eating it as long as there's no plastic in there. I don't think it'd be as tasty as a steak and cheese pie cold. I'm going to give it. I might give it a 6. I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6. Okay, 6. Decision time. Post heartburn factor. We've had 1 burp so far, 2 burps I think so far, so down to 8 for that one. Now, stuffability score. I'm going to do a fine. I'm going to down it some marks for having the plastic in there in a minute. So the question is, will I feel stuffed when I finish the pie? Now, the way the scoring works is if you feel overstuffed, then it loses marks. And if you're still hungry, it loses marks. If it's just hit the spot and it's just enough and you're content and happy, 10 out of 10. Okay, so I need to finish the pie to do the stuffability score. Okay. I've not come across any more plastic. But that's the last bit of pie. There you go. It's all right. It's an all right kind of pie. It's not a wow pie. It does the job kind of thing. And to be fair, there are hardly any crumbs on the workbench. So that just again reinforces the fact that not only is it structurally stable for eating whilst driving, there's no runny element to it. Very little will fall off in the car, onto your seat, carpet, down the side of the seat, which is worse because you can't get to it. You can just watch it evolve over time. You can get furry, which is the case in my truck. It needs a good hoover, I must admit. Although I've only got another 20 to 30,000 Ks and it's time for a new truck, so probably won't get hoovered. Stuffability score. Am I still hungry? Could I still eat something? A little bit. Yeah, I could. I think if I'd eaten that on the road at a petrol station, I'd probably find myself reaching for an oaty kind of bar out of the glove box just to top things up for breakfast. Wasn't quite enough. I'm going to give it an 8. I think 8's fair. Okay, have we got all the scores? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We have. Right. So now's your turn to help me to add the whole thing up. Turn you around. 3, 2, 1. Oh, we need to down it for the plastic, don't we? So, over to you. How much, first response that comes through, how many marks should we take off for finding plastic inside the pie? Go. Oh, Simon, may have been an eggshell membrane. I think it was too tough for that. It took a bit to snap it. Right, Bazansky, not the first plastic bits you've eaten, lol. It isn't. Ad lupus umbra. Instant 0 due to contamination. Never have accepted foreign material in food as even slightly acceptable. I can't give it... I agree with you. I can't give it 0 overall. I think that's a bit too harsh. I would like to try and keep the pie on the board. 3, that is bad quality control. I think it is. I think it is. I read that one. Thanks, Connor. So how many marks? Connor's put forward -3 points for poor quality control. Anybody else got a take on this? I can't just write the whole thing off. Oh, another burp. Let's knock that down. So, post heartburn is now 7. How many marks out of 10? How many marks should we take off for it having plastic inside the pie? Mike Adams, quick question about the wheel spokes. Is there a type of gauge with a motorcycle or bicycle that helps with getting even tension? Yes, on bicycles there is, because the spokes are quite flexible. Park Tools make those, so you can Google it. For motorcycle spokes, they are an awful lot thicker spoke, and the way to do that, and there is a video on this on the channel, is just get your spanner, usually a spanner or a screwdriver, and just tap the spokes. And the tone that you get from the spoke, the higher the tone, the tighter the spoke is. And you want them all to have a similar tone if you can. If it's a second-hand rim that you've tried to true up that's been buckled, then you're never going to get that, because the spokes that are pulling the wheel back into true will always be a bit tighter than the others. But if it's a new rim and you know it's straight and you've just laced the new rim into the wheel, then all your spokes should be about the same tension. Just give it a tap as you go around. That's how we check them during Warrant of Fitness. Just ding, 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 ding. Thud. Oh, that's a loose spoke. What's going on there? That's a fail, right? So there you go. Right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Okay, we'll go with Connor's -3. I think that's very conservative. Okay, so -3. We'll do that at the end. I'm not going to write on the board because that's a standard board. So -3 for the plastic in the pie. Right. Let's do. Oh, hang on. I was going to up the number some more. They use machines to make those, and they are sold in shops and supermarkets. They make a lot. Should be better quality control. I agree with you. Having a bit of plastic in your pie is not the greatest thing. At least it wasn't a long strand that you're trying to pull out of your teeth, you know. fair enough. I'm too critical with food. No, I agree with you. I think it would certainly put me off Irvines pies in general moving forwards. But -3, okay, it was only a small bit of plastic. Chances are I would have survived. We're not 100% certain that it is plastic. It might actually be something that's edible, but it's not bacon and it's not eggs, so it shouldn't be in the pie, right? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Right, turn you down. There we go. Okay, we've got to crack on because Andy's got an ROV to service and we're an hour and 30 in. And I said to Mr. Mechanic, oh, it won't be a long live stream this morning. Don't worry about it. Right, so 26, 34, 42, 50, 57, 63, 71, 78, 86. It was doing pretty well, wasn't it? 86. 92 is the score without the fine. And then it gets -3 for plastic. So 89. Are we on camera? We're probably not on camera. 89 is what it gets. Okay, where's my little slip? There we go. Look, we've still got a few of these left, which is good. So, Irvines. Bacon. An egg. And it was a 150 gram. Now, found plastic in pie. That's the headline. Okay, and it got 89, which actually isn't a bad score for a pie, in all honesty, especially given the size and the price of it. But you know what? I won't be getting another one. Not when you get free plastic with it. Okay, back to the board. 89. So we're on the right-hand door, I think, from memory. Yes, there we go. Look. So we'll put it in that gap just there. Look. Irvines, bacon and egg, 150 gram, 89 points. But we found plastic in the pie, so I really couldn't recommend it. Not a good idea. But saying that, most of them won't have plastic in. Just that one. Okay. Back to the bench. Man, we've done some pies. You'll be pleased to know I do a pie every day this week. I am refraining the temptation of pie every day, which is good. Has it made any difference? Nah, not really. Not really. Not in the big scheme of things. Okay, where do we get to? Email Irvines the video for a free pie. I'll do that. I'll send them a link to the video and say, oi, you lot, pull your finger out. In fact, pull the plastic out. That'll be a better thing to do. But you're right, Simon. I mean, you know, there's no hiding the fact there was definitely a bit of plastic in that pie. I mean, I'm sure it was plastic. It was quite tough to break. I think if it was a bit of egg membrane, it would have been a lot easier to break, you know? And it would have probably felt more slimy. That felt quite dry. There was quite a lot of grip on it, you know? It all happens on the Andy Mechanic YouTube channel, that's for sure. Right, we'll stick that over there out of the way. Boom. Okay, where do we get to? We've got about 2 or 3 minutes. The time for me to finish this cigarette, and then I'm going to have to sign off. Otherwise, I'll be in trouble, because Mrs. Mechanic wants to crack on and get this stuff done. And then maybe, just maybe, we can play a game this afternoon, because I don't spend a lot of time with her, and she likes the board games. She really does. Right, Simon. Yeah, do that one. Ad Lupus Umbra. It's a very difficult name to say. Ad says, new rating category based on the amount of contamination gives minus points. No contamination, 0. Higher contamination, 10. I think that's a very good idea. Unfortunately, I sort of already set the criteria for the pie reviews, and I think it's a bit unfair to be changing it midway. Sure, in hindsight, I'm pretty sure we could have made the categories a bit more poignant, a bit more specific, and maybe a couple more categories as well, including that one, any contamination in the pie, anything in there that shouldn't be in there, kind of thing. and give it a negative rating based on that. And I agree with that completely. All we can do really is add it or deduct it from the end, from the total, which is probably a similar thing, but you know. Most pies, we've had a lot of pies, there's no contamination, they're all pretty good. It's very rare. In fact, possibly that, I think maybe one of the pies had a hair in it, but that might have not been one that I actually reviewed on camera, which is a bit, yeah, does put you off a little bit, but hey, I was hungry. But that one, that was definitely inside the pie, inside the contents, and they should definitely lose points for that. That's not good quality control at all. Mike, to me, if I get a food product or any find of product or any type of and find something wrong with it, I take it as a fluke. Unless it seems to be a repetitive on every purchase, then my score on it would drop. Fair point. However, we were only going to be reviewing that pie once, and so I can't tell you if it's repeated or not. I think it's highly unlikely the same problem with me in another pie, but the score for me is on the pie on the day, and that had plastic in it. So they only lost 3 points. Hasn't made a huge difference. They scored pretty well anyway, in all honesty. For a small pie, I was expecting it to be low 70s, but it actually it was fighting above its weight, to be honest. It did pretty well. Connor K, Mrs. Mechanic is a good one. You need to keep her happy. I do. She's a top lass. She really is. She puts up with me, and I'm not the easiest person to put up. What you see on camera is you know, it's not the whole story. It really isn't. Maybe one day you'll find out. But anyway, no more about that. Oh, ad lupus umbra. Ad lupus umbra is Latin. You see, I didn't do Latin. It means to the wolf's shadow. Oh my word, that's cool. Very good. Thank you for explaining that. To the wolf's shadow. That's a very, very, very good YouTube name, is that. I tell everyone to call me Lupus. Lupus. Lupus it is. Right. Simon. So what about each year call the best pie, then start again? Then you can change the scoring and have a king category for the best pies and redo the king once a year. Oh man. Okay. We could do that. We could do that, actually. We're very close to the end of the year. It'd be a good sign off for the pie state at the moment. So we've got between now and the end of the year to do some more pie reviews on this particular, you know, set. Call it what you like. And then we'll start again in the new year, and maybe then we'll just do one every other Sunday or something. We'll plan it. We'll plan it as a team. We'll work it out. But that's a good idea, Simon, because we've got a lot of pies on the board and we're running out of space. So by resetting it, we've already got a leader at the moment. That will be the king for this year, the Atasbar chicken pie. It's not even a steak pie. I can't believe that. So we'll wait and see. But yes, we've only got a few more weeks. I will keep doing the pie reviews in the South Island, so we'll get a few more on the board before the end of the year. And we'll go from there. Sounds an excellent plan, Simon. I do value your input. Thank you very much. So, has anybody guessed what the earrings are today? They are automotive related. You might have seen them in the thumbnail. It took a while to choose these for you. What do you think? And no, I don't wear them on a day-to-day basis, by the way. This is just for the live stream. Come on, give me some more comments. We're halfway through the cigarette. It's over to you. My mind is on what I'm going to do. Valve clearances is the next thing to do on the ROV. Get those smashed out. New spark plug. Diff oils. Well, actually, diff oil and final drive oil. They'll be next on the list. And then rear knuckles to strip. In between all of that, we've got the calipers to reassemble and paint. Pad carriers to paint. Mrs. Mechanic's doing that side of it. Calipers on. I've got the handbrake caliper I've removed it from the vehicle. I've still got to rebuild it. So that's, I don't know, about half an hour, 3/4 of an hour's work. Handbrake was actually working pretty well, but and the pads look reusable, which is good because I'm trying to save them some money on this service because they've had to pay for a new muffler, which is very expensive, very expensive. Oh, what have we got? Mrs. Mechanic. Oh, right, okay, right, okay, got that. Thank you. Oh, a few more comments. Mike Adams, looks like the earring is a little piston and piston rod. Simon, got a good video suggestion for you. How to space piston rings on a 4-stroke. 4-stroke. That's a good idea. 120 degrees, right? So back to Mike's comment. There you go. Hopefully that's in shot. Yes, piston and conrod. Sure is. Daz, you should do a live stream, a location with subscribers. Problem is, they're all over the place and very spread apart, especially in New Zealand. God, I've got big ears. I think it happens when you get old. Anyway, yeah, we should try and do something like that. Maybe give lots of advance notice and do it somewhere where people can get to. Yeah, try and organise that. It'll be a while off, but I'll try and organise something. Keep reminding me. Okay, the cigarette is gone. Thank you, Daz, for that comment. Appreciate it. Crew, I have to crack on. I've got an RRV to service. So thank you very much for joining on this particular live stream. I have no idea what live stream number this is. I have completely lost count. Connor K, no, Andy, elephants have big ears. Thank you, Connor. Appreciate it. I feel a lot better now. Okay, so next live stream will be next Sunday, 8:30 a.m. I'll try not to be late. And I'll see you all then. Thanks for all your support and your comments and everything, really. It's been a good chat. I've enjoyed it. See you next time. Cheers. Over and out. Oh, and hit the like button. Thanks, Simon.